Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. I'm old school, but I keep it funky fresh, y'all. And this is deep, y'all. I'm from the deep, y'all. And what you get is what you motherfucking see.
Welcome back, humans! You know what day it is. And before I get started, I would like it if you would smash that subscription, turn on your notifications, and hit that like button. My name is Jaime, and I'm ready to get on with some Vince. This episode happens to be sponsored by Time Vision and absolutely nobody else. So with that said, cheers, humans. And then it's going to be vent time. Because it's Saturday. And you know what day it is. I ain't got to tell you. But anyways. Shit got weird today, man. Shit got weird, humans. I felt like I entered a parallel universe. I felt like I went to like maybe another dimension. It was so strange, and I got so uncomfortable. I didn't know how to react to it, and the first instinct was to like escape. Like all I could think of was just like get out of this situation. This something weird could happen. Something weird could be happening. So I'm at the grocery store with my wife. We're getting our groceries. You know, that's what you do. You know, we're doing the thing, and everyone in the store was like so abnormally nice. The whole entire store, from the customers that you interacted with to the people that worked there, everybody was like so nice. And I did not know how to react to it. We split up to get, the stuff on our grocery list, try to, save some time. And so I walk over here and I'm going through my aisles. I'm getting some things. And I am just like, whoa. People are like, oh, excuse me. Oh, go right ahead. Oh, can I get that for you? And all this stuff was going on and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do or how to react to it, but I got through it. I mean, I kept my cool during the situations. I was like, thank you. And, I got my stuff. And then I went back to my wife and I was like, I think we got to get out of here. She was like, what's going on? I was like, having an anxiety attack or something. My anxiety was like, I was like pushing, I was getting like flutters. I was just like, this is weird. Stuff was like, I mean, and everybody's like, look, it felt like a they live situation. Cause like when you walk down the open aisle where you could see everybody in like the big part of the aisles, it was like, everybody would just look at you. Everybody was like turning and looking at you. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. This is nuts. Something's weird. So I get to her, I catch up to her. And I'm like, man, this is just weird. She's like, what's going on? I'm like, everybody's being like super nice. Like, this is strange. So I'm just going to get my soda, go throw a pack of soda on the cart. And there was a gentleman there loading the soda, and he's kind of in the way of what I was trying to get, the product I wanted. So I go over there, and I'm, trying to be nice. And I just go over there, and I'm just like, man, everybody was being so nice and just weird. I don't want to, like, not fit in. So I'm like, excuse me, do you think you could pass me a pack of, that 24 pack there? And he was like, oh, sure, and he gave it to me, and I was like, thank you. And I go put it in my car, and he was like, have a nice day. And I'm like, oh, shit. I started pushing the cart fast. My wife's like, wait up. I'm like, okay, let's go. What line do you want me to get in? So it was just uncomfortable and strange. I mean, I like when people are nice, but it was just odd right now, the way people are so tense. People are so tense and like not nice, and it was really nice, but it was also awkward, if that makes sense. It just was unexpected too. It was unexpected, and I think that's what shocked me. It was just all at once. Everybody in there was just in a great mood. Cheers to everybody out there. I mean, you made me uncomfortable, but it was also awesome that you were so nice. It was kind of weird and creepy. Every single person. It was awesome. I was in the parking lot when I pulled up, and somebody even like stopped and let me get in the parking spots. The parking spot. And I couldn't even believe it, man. They like stopped and were like, "Go ahead." I was like, "Holy snaps!" So I pulled up in there. I was like, "This is just." It started off like, that was cool. That never happens. Everybody else just be like, pushing noses in there like, I saw it first, fuck you. Trying to get that spot. But, like I said, shout out to all you humans out there. I was just, not expecting all that niceness, all that kindness. And it was great. It was a nice little something different. If you ask me. So I don't know. I guess, I shouldn't be, I'm not complaining or anything. I'm just kind of venting on it because it was very uncomfortable. It was just so unexpected. It'd be so unexpected. Like, it was, it was so shocking. It was like unexpected. Like if the Lions won a Super Bowl. That's how unexpected and shocking it would be. Like, you'd be like, who? What? If you're not from here or anything like that, it was like that. It was like a level of that to me. It was like probably level on the scale of that magnitude. That's how weird it was. And shocking. The shock and awe was like at high levels. But man, oh man. Humans, I'm excited tonight. There's a big ass fight tonight. Oh my goodness. I'm a fan of the fight game. Not only is there a good UFC card tonight, but there's a boxing match I've been anticipating to watch. Canelo versus Caleb Plant. Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant. I think they call him Sweet Hands. I think that's what he calls his nickname. Caleb Sweet Hands Plant. All I know, man, he's a pretty good boxer. He's got some skill. He can throw his hands. He's got some footwork, and he's a good sized boxer. He knows how to use the jab and the distance, and like I said, he's a good mover. And he's got some knockouts on his record. But I'm pulling for Canelo because I'm a fan of him, of course. And Caleb's kind of like new to me. I really didn't know too much of him except till his last. I think I only seen like 2 of his fights. So he's kind of new to me, but I've been following Canelo, so I'm a fan of him. And I'm kind of pulling for Canelo on this fight, when I do this fight pick and everything. But it's like, we had that face off when I talked about earlier in the episode when they were starting, before the training camp started. They slapped each other in the faces, came out there, put hands on each other. So the weigh-in was yesterday. Caleb Plant came a pound under. Canelo was right on the money. And they both look like in tremendous shape. But I thought Caleb Plant looked a little drained in the face just a little bit. But his facial hair is kind of covering it. But you can kind of see it in the eyes. Like, they were like sunk in a little bit. He was like drained. But either way, I think it's going to be a good fight. I'm really excited because of the size, like I said. If Caleb Plant has a chance, only if he like has respectable power. But if his power doesn't isn't anything, Canelo's going to walk the guy down. He's going to figure ways to cut off the ring, and he's going to walk through the guy, and not necessarily walk through the guy, but he's going to walk through his punches. He's going to not respect his power, so he's going to be looking to, go through his punches to land a supreme power counter punch. And so I think Caleb Plant better be on his P's and Q's. Use that footwork, use your distance. That would give you the best chance to like win some rounds, I think. But like I said, if you don't have the power to hold him back, you're going to be in some trouble like early and often. And hopefully your chin's going to hold up for a few rounds, because people are going to, pay to see a good fight. It's going to be a good fight even if it ends early. I'm telling you. Canelo's not playing around. These guys were real intense in the face-off again. This time they had tables and stuff in front of them so nobody can get hit again. But Canelo's usually real cool and calm when he does a fight. He's usually respectful and stuff. But this time he's like really angry, man, talking trash, and it's crazy, man. What I thought was kind of funny too is he come out in some fancy pajamas. So he's got these cool gold fancy pajamas. The whole fam was in it. It was kind of cute with the little kids and all that. But I think he's got a pajama line. Unless that's not pajamas and those are like sweatsuits, I'm not sure. But they look like pajamas. But I know he's got like a clothing line like that's similar to those silky pajamas looking stuff. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if they're like joggers or jumpsuits or what they are, but they look like pajamas. So he came out in these, gold pajamas. And they did the weigh-in and all that, got in each other's faces. And so tonight's the fight. And I'm excited. Like I said, I'm going for Canelo. And I'm almost thinking that this is going to be an early knockout for some. I got a strange feeling like, Plant's going to take a little chance and Canelo's going to be, land this really nasty counter. And you've seen what he did to some other fighters when he lands that counter where it like knocks the soul out of them. They just catch that punch so clean and their body just like separates. Like you've seen that Doctor Strange shit when he first met I forget what she is, the supreme one, like the bald woman, and she like pushed him out of his body, like, and gave him that like outer body experience. That's what it looks like when he knocks some dudes out sometimes, like via Kirkland, Amir Khan, and many others. But those ones were like significant because they were very similar. They were almost the same punch. But sheesh, man, and then what's his name? Saunders had an injury, in that fight. Got his like a face bone broken. So it's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a good fight either way, whether it goes long distance, whether it goes early. This fight's gonna be great because I don't think any of them are gonna be holding back. I know Caitlin Platt's coming to fight. That's why I got a feeling like he could just be catching punches. This could be a crazy one. But I'm picking Canelo to win by knockout. I'm not picking a round, but I just picking it that it's going to be a knockout by Canelo. So we'll see. It's going to be a good one. That's all I know. Definitely going to be a good one. So anyways, I found some crazy news. I found this crazy story. It's not like too new, but it just resurfaced. And I caught this article, and it was just really wild on why sometimes you can't trust your government or something like that. I don't know. So it was like all these stories and like real stories that happened, and they were in the news and things like that. And this one caught my eye. It happened in Ellensburg, Washington. A man by the name of Mel Waters. He owned a nice piece of land out there, and living his life, doing his thing out there, and he found a hole on his property, like in the ground, like a sinkhole of some sort, or a cave-looking hole, like in his property. And he claims that this thing seemed like a bottomless pit because he was a shark fisherman or something like that. Excuse me. Or a fisherman of large fish and all that kind of stuff. So he had like all these kind of like super long fishing lines, and they said he used over 5 of these like supersized like fishing reels for like big, large fish. And he dropped this line through there like over 15 miles and like over 88,000 feet or something crazy. And he claims there was still no bottom there. And some friends of his and neighbors like that were close by of this land, tried to throw trash down there, started using it like a dump. And people started throwing dead pets in there. And some pet cemetery shit supposedly happened on this property. He says a neighbor supposedly added a syllable in there, like whatever, But anyways, his neighbor, put one of his dead pets in there, in that hole. And he claims his pet came back, like pet cemetery shit. But he didn't tell us like if the pet was all like psycho and I'm not, I'm just like a crazy animal now and want to kill you, or was it back to like his cuddly pet, or if it was even really true. I don't know if they started like, making stories about this big hole and it could just be a bunch of BS. But I'm not sure because something weird happened once he started telling, talking about it more, and he ended up calling some radio station of a guy that's not alive anymore, rest in peace. We went by the name of Art Bell. And he had a radio station, and people would call in with crazy stories, sometimes paranormal of, crazy phenomenon, And he was known for one of the big stories that kind of, went viral when, supposedly when Bob Lazar called, the big Bob Lazar story. When he called in and, warned us or was trying to warn people and, was being triangulated and chased down by the government and things, that all broke down on that Art Bell show. So this gentleman here, calls into the Art Bell show, rest in peace, and, makes a claim on this property of his with this big giant hole. Yeah, I keep saying hole, I know, but hey, it is a hole. And he claims it's like a bottomless pit. And he, states all these claims. And so it gets a lot of attention on there. People calling in, want to hear more things like that. They want to hear more info, whatever they can get. They send some investigators in. Well, one day he's out of the town or doing, not out of town, doing out, running errands, doing whatever he's doing. He shows up and his property's all like taped off, and there's government vehicles and police vehicles, and they're all like telling him he can't go back on his land because apparently there was a plane crash So due to this plane crash, I guess they say it was like a top secret government vehicle or something like that, and they're going to investigate and do investigation. So you can't go on this property because of this plane crash, and that was like in the area where the hole was. So the government came over there and checked out, and now they're probably doing something in this hole. They're doing some government shit in this hole. Now it's the government hole. So it kind of brings more questions now that the story case takes another level. And that's another reason they say you can't trust them, because it will make a reason. They'll just take something and, like say you have some crazy discovery of a new technology, or you find a new species, or you find aliens, like you find real species from another planet, and then they'll be like, oh, your house don't work. You come home like, well, your house doesn't work right now. I'm like, oh man, really? What happened? I don't know. Something doesn't work. We're going to check your house battery. So you can't come in no more. So it's kind of wild, man. Like if you get some crazy discovery, like that's why you wonder, like people always freak out and don't want to say anything. Because I remember a long time ago, there was like he was like a ufologist or someone who also studied like, strange and unexplained things. And his name was Jaime also. And he was from Mexico. And he would do all these investigations of these things. And this one gentleman claimed to be abducted by an alien species that took him on a ship. And he said their skin was like super dark, like blue, almost purple. But they looked human, sort of human. And they were like talking to him about stuff and blah, blah, blah. And, took a picture with him or showed him to let him take a picture of the ship or something strange like that. And so he made the news, and the news was saying things like, how do we know this is true? And my man was like, because I saved this picture and didn't give it to the cops. So my man didn't give nothing to the government when they were there. Or the Men in Black, they showed up. He was like, nope, I don't got nothing else other than the story. And when the news was there, he was like, I saved this. Pow! And he pulled out this picture of the ship. I was like, oh man, and maybe you have to do that to get some stories out or get some text out that would, help humanity or things like that. Because, apparently, there's all these things that do exist that can help us, and we're not allowed to use it. We're not allowed to use it. And it's a bummer. It's a bummer. So, like I said, man, it's it's kind of interesting. And it makes you wonder, like, what do you all think about that, humans? Like, I mean, that's this place, and then there's like this local native, I guess, a man that lives in the neighborhood, one of the guys out there in the neighborhood, in that like deserty area. He made claims that there's a species that lives down there, and that they don't like our weather up here and our climates, and they are I guess they want to come up. He says they have plans of coming out of this hole or coming from underground where they live and to take over the humans and use us for food and sexual reproduction and slaves. And that's what he said these things are in this hole. And I'm like, how the hell do you know? Like, what do they do? Just they email you? I want to know how he figured this out. How they knows this. Like, did they talk to him? Did one come out? Did one come out and tell him this? Like, where did he get this info from? He's just like a local from there. Like, I'll tell you what it is. When he told you what's up in there. How did he know? That's what I want to know. I want to call BS on that just because, there was also that Pet Cemetery story that I call BS on. I don't even think that happened. The Pet Cemetery. Or, I mean, not the Pet Cemetery movie or anything. I'm talking, of course the movie didn't happen. But I'm saying, like, putting your pets in that, the bottomless pit. And that pit on that guy's property. When it comes back. I call BS on that, and I'm calling BS on the other one. On there being a species down there that's going to come up and take us over. They want to come and take us over, yo. Why does when we watch these alien movies too, like, I might take a little rear vent on here, but like, why when we watch these alien movies too, it's always like a takeover situation. It's never like peaceful unless it's like a kid movie. But then it's like they're trying to be peaceful, but then the government's being evil, or they're coming to take over. Either they're taking over, or the government's evil, trying to study the alien. Why is it only those scenarios? And I don't get why that is. That's probably why they're always like, they see if they're studying our technology or whatever, when basically if they can come here, we got no chance. If they can travel from wherever they're from, and we can't even go past the moon because the still, the moon that's so close, and we can't do shit else and just throw probes everywhere. They would be able to mop us up. So it'd be like no choice. There'd be like no chance. We need to think about that. But I just don't understand why it's always like a takeover situation. Why would they, it'd probably be no problem to do that. So they want to come talk to you just to flex, like, this is going to be easy. This will be too easy. But anyways. There's a place in America, right here in the United States of America, that apparently murder is legal. Like crimes, all kinds of crimes are legal in this little 50 square section near Yellowstone Park. That's right, humans. A 50 square section in America they call the death zone. I guess a Michigan State professor, Michigan State professor, like a law professor, published a paper on this, and I was really interested. I couldn't stop reading this, and I was like, this is bananas. So apparently this place doesn't have, a population of 0. So say you committed in this crime in this little zone here, this 50 square zone, and they can't get a jury there, so this supposed loophole is that you could get away with all kinds of crimes in this little zone of death, or zone of death, I think that's what they call it. That's what weird. That's kind of strange because, what if that's true? Like, if you could go in this place, and the reason, why wouldn't they just get juries from the other side? I guess they got to follow the law, but like, how many people, would go there to just commit a crime, like in this little area? It's weird. It's like, and it goes through like almost 3 states or something like that. And it's this little 50 square area, 50 square miles. And they call it the zone of death because, with this paper he published, they was talking about this gentleman who claims that you could get away with murder there. And he was breaking it down how technically murder is still very illegal. So I'm not promoting that by any humans. Don't go over there and think you're going to get away with that. It's only like, it's only a technicality or something weird like that that's not really going to work. They're not going to let you, just because it's a park, get away with it. By no means. But they were just saying, there's, you can't get no jury there. So it's kind of strange. And what if what if people started doing that over there, man? It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild that people went over there and started just, killing. It's weird. You gotta be careful. If you want to go see Yellowstone and you cross that zone and, some couple starts arguing. You better be careful what you say to me. We're in the zone. And then somebody that doesn't know that they're in that zone of death or whatever, be like, oh, look at that guy talking about he's all super focused right now. And he's like, don't mess with me right now. I'm in the zone. I would carry a map on me at all times and make sure I don't step in that zone on accident. You cut somebody off while you're in the zone, and they're just like, who we are. We're in the fucking zone. And they'll be trying to do some shit. But anyways, another thing I found, there's a long history of vampires being in New Orleans. And I don't know how you say it, New Orleans, I don't know how you actually say it when you're from there, New Orleans. I apologize. But hey, I tried. Nolans. But there's a long history of having vampires in Nolans. That's right, humans. For a long time, there's been like stories. Like, I think since like the 30s, there was like 2 gentlemen accused of doing all this crazy stuff. But nowadays too, like, there's stories of like people that try to like act like a vampire lifestyle. Like they try to live vampire style. And people like, for real, volunteer their own blood to be drank by these vampires or fake vampires that are still there today, like 2021, right now. Like, they're fake vampires, but they say they're vampires because they're really drinking blood. But they ain't got no fangs, and they can be out in the sun and shit. So I call them like the fake vampires. You know what I'm saying? Those vampires. But there's a history of like all these crazy encounters of real vampires, like documented in these articles in New Orleans. It's wild, and I wonder if they're true. If there's anybody from New Orleans out there, if you're not offended by the way I'm trying to say the city or say where you're at, you drop a comment in there. Let me know about the vampire stories in the comments. It's creepy, these little encounters, and it's just, man, it's just weird to think about. Like vampires really preying on people. You hear the Dracula stories and all those crazy things. So I don't know, man. You got to be careful out there in New Orleans. You got some people out there trying to be some Lost Boy shit. And speaking of Lost Boys, I got to vent on this because this really upsets the shit out of me. I'm like so mad right now, humans. I don't know about y'all, but man, they need to quit remaking movies. I don't even care if the movie comes out good and you did a good job. You need to quit remake. Man, you got me all stuttering over here. You need to be like more creative out here. Where are the creative people? You got to just remake everything because you ain't got no ideas. Maybe you should start doing polls or something like everybody does on Instagram. Like, here's the poll. What should my movie be about? Ask me something. You know what I'm saying? In that little square. What should movie should be about? Action, comedy. Mix it together. Boom. People, you know how many responses you would get? Just don't remake shit. They're trying to remake The Lost Boys. Humans, and I ain't with that. The Lost Boys. That is such a classic movie and a really good film. I would be so mad at, first of all, there's no. Okay, and then second of all, super no. All right, and then you're never going to cast anything. There's no cast out there good enough. It don't matter how many A-list actors you put in there. There's no cast good enough you're going to get to make Lost Boys good again. You might make a good vampire movie, but it's not going to be Lost Boys. Don't even try it. There's no way it's going to be a Lost Boys film. They had like the best cast ever. Especially even the vampires that didn't even say nothing. They had those were the best non-speaking characters probably in almost any film. And I don't even care. They probably said a couple words. They all yelled at one guy, Michael. They yelled his name a couple times and laughed in the film. They barely said shit. The one dude from Bill and Ted's and the one guy looked like he was in rock bands and shit. They didn't say anything barely. And they were phenomenal characters of this film. Everybody else, if you guys remake it, I'm afraid it's going to be like a woke-ass Lost Boys. It'll be it won't be called Lost Boys. I'm afraid it'll be all changed. And it'll be like a woke-ass movie or something stupid. And that's why I think don't even try it because you'll ruin such a historical film. I feel like any remake right now, even the new superhero movie that comes out, I think it's going to be, I'm going to watch it real great, inspectfully because I think they're going to try to do with a lot of films. And I just think, if you're going to remake it, try to stay as true to the game as you can. But I'm not with Lost Boys at all. I just feel like that's a tough cast. Like I said, you could put DiCaprio, all these dudes in there that act phenomenal. It'll be a great vampire movie. But you can't do Lost Boys, man. You can't bring old-ass Kiefer back. They all got jacked up. I don't even know, man. I just don't agree with that remake at all. There are so many bad remakes out there that don't even... Oh, man, they did Dune, and I'm sure Dune's a good film. Haven't seen it yet. But I just feel like that one's really bad as well, man. You got to keep that dark element. It looks so HD and super colorful. And I seen a lot of clips here and there. And, there were some dark parts of the film and everything, but the film just, to me, I don't know. I haven't even seen it yet. And I've got to see it. I plan on seeing it. But I'm going to watch it very, like I said, because I seen the original and read some of the book, and all kind of stuff when I was younger. I was all about that stuff, man. And so I just don't like a lot of these remakes. I hated a couple of the Star Wars films, the newer ones. Just hated them. And, and some of them just got me so mad for, maybe I saw a good couple, maybe 7 minutes of a good one in a couple of those films that were trash. So I'm not with this Lost Boys remake. I just don't think there's going to be a good enough cast for this film. Like I said, I think everybody's going to want to have something to say because they're so woke right now. Like, I don't feel like there could be those silent characters anymore. Somebody's got to say something. They're going to have to have their own personality. When they did without saying one word. They didn't have to say one damn word. Those some badass vampires right there. Them dudes was badass. With their crappy, when Bill and Ted or whatever his name was, had that crappy extension just hanging in the back of his hair. Man, those dudes was just badass vampires. Hands down. And they barely said nothing in the movie. And they was some badass vampires. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. And if you did, I'd appreciate it if y'all would hit that like button, hit me with a subscription, and turn on those notifications. My name is Jaime, and this has been another episode of Meant to Vent. Till next time, humans. See ya.
Yes,